What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Red and Gold Standard podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, Matt Llewellyn, and our guy, Mike Andrews of Nothing But Niners. We got a great show planned for you guys this evening. Before I kick it off to the crew, if you're watching on Twitter, head over to youtube.com/49ers Hive and join from there so we could see and interact with your comments. We're not ignoring anything. We just can't see it. I've seen some rumors that Elon might bring back Periscope to Twitter. If so, that'd be dope. We could get these comments back in here on these live streams. But until then, youtube.com/49ers Hive. It's on the ticker scrolling across the screen. With that all said, Matt, how you doing this evening?
Well, I mean, other than a head cold, I'm doing all right. Please forgive me if I sound a little nasally, but yeah, not doing too bad. Full into baseball season, schedule dropped, so mix a little 49ers into my summer. It's been a long time, guys, so let's jump right into it.
Definitely. Mike, how you doing?
I am well, guys, and I want to apologize in advance. If you guys saw my schedule review show, upon further review, that's all I'm going to say for now. Upon further review. So I'm here to backtrack and take some things back. Hopefully you guys don't hate me. Hopefully you guys don't think I'm one of those content creators just saying stuff for clicks. I saw that comment just up there, so all right, so I'm here to share my thoughts, man. My thoughts are fluid and they're living, and I think I reserve the right to adjust and change my mind about some things. We'll see.
That's right. Yeah, I think we all do. All right, with that said, guys, we're going to get right into the schedule. It came out. We all have a lot of thoughts about it. Man, I don't know what to make of this, but let's just start off week one. I don't know if you guys want to get into preseason. Let's just start week one. 49ers open up the season on the road in Pittsburgh. What are your thoughts, Matt?
I mean, it should be a win for the 49ers. Let's be real. Pittsburgh's going to run it back with Kenny Pickett, who I don't think was very impressive last year. I don't think that he's a very good quarterback, and I think that the Steelers are just at a down point in their franchise, and there's nothing wrong with that. They've been, very good for a very long time, but not every team can have the luxury that the Green Bay Packers have, where you go from one Hall of Fame quarterback to another. I think that Pittsburgh's in that transition phase where they're in between their franchise quarterbacks right now. I don't really see it out of Kenny Pickett. The rest of the team has a lot of holes. TJ Watt is a beast, of course, but he had an injury last year. Is he going to follow the same path as his brother, who JJ, after 3 straight years of dominance, after 3 defensive player of the years, started to accrue some injuries? Very physical position. I think the Steelers defense is formidable, but not unbeatable. And I just don't see anything out of that offense that truly scares me. I know the 49ers have questions at quarterback, but I think I'd even venture as far to say that Sam Darnold is better than Kenny Pickett. So any one of these quarterbacks is going to be better than what the Steelers are going to trot out there. This should be an easy week 1 win. Although, as we saw last year with the Bears, nothing's guaranteed if weather is a factor. But all things being equal, 49ers should win.
Yeah. Agreed. I saw a lot of people saying, oh, I don't know about this one. This is going to be a tough one for the 49ers. Look, the Steelers, they always are going to have a solid defense, but nothing they're doing on offense scares me right now. George Pickett is good receiver, but I'm not threatened by their offense. I guess I'll leave it at that. Mike, any chance the 49ers start off the season 0-1 again?
Chance, yeah, but I don't see it going that way. I think their defensive plan is going to be fairly obvious, right? You're going to have Watt lining up over whoever we put at right tackle, right? They're going to test that meat right away, as any, I think, respectable DC would do. They're going to go right after whoever we have at right tackle. And then any other positions that are different along that line. They're probably going to use it as a chess piece. And they just signed, if I'm not mistaken, today, the XFL leading touchdown receiver who was a former what's his name? It's a wide receiver. Oh, my God. I'm blanking on his name right now, but they just signed him. And so I think they're trying to get some more help at the receiver position, some more size over there. He's a good size guy. I believe he was a decent round pick too in the NFL. I'm blanking on the name right now.
Jaguars Pearson?
No, not him. He Maybe it wasn't the Steelers that signed him then. Maybe I'm thinking of a different team.
Hakeem Butler.
Yeah,
Yes.
Steelers.
It was the Steelers that got him?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Mike. There you go. I knew NY would know. I believe that was Mike's guy coming out in the draft. So they're out there trying to get some help. And, rightfully so, they should go out there and do that. But I'm not worried about them on offense. The thing is, we don't quite know who our quarterback is going to be for sure. A lot of us have our own opinions and theories on that. So can our offense produce against their really good defense? And our really good defense is going to be going up against their mediocre offense. It might be a closer game than what we want to see, but I still think the Niners should be able to leave that game with a victory in hand. And I'll be there, by the way. So, I'm going to bring some good luck.
There you go. I love it. This is going to be a very interesting. I love how you open that up with TJ Watt. Definitely, we're going to find out very early on if the 49ers plan to replace Mike McGlinchey with an in-house player will work, or at least we'll start off the season working. All right, so week 2, still on the road, although it's kind of like a home game addendum, I guess, in LA for the Rams. This one is an afternoon game here on the West Coast. What do you guys make of this game, Matt?
The Rams are going to have a tough year this year. They're not very good. They got rid of a bunch of people. They didn't have a lot of draft picks. I wasn't impressed with anything that they did in the offseason. It seemed like they only got worse from last year. And just looking at the division overall, 4-2, 5-1, that should be a worst case scenario in this division for the 49ers. I think they start things off right against the Rams at Levi's South, pick up a win and go 2-0. This Rams team, I don't think they have anything for the 49ers this season.
Same. I remember this game last year. Was it week 4 or whatever that Monday night game was where, Hufanga had that pick 6? That game, it felt like there was so much more on the line because it was the first time these teams had rematched since the NFC Championship game of the year prior. You're thinking maybe both of these teams are going to be contenders again. Boy, did their seasons go in opposite directions after that meeting, and the Rams really never recouped that momentum. We'll see who's even playing quarterback for them come this game. I don't think this is something for the 49ers to fear. This should be an easy win, in my opinion. Mike, any thoughts on this matchup?
No, other than the traveling, East Coast to West Coast, the Niners are going to do a lot of that. I'm going to mention that a lot during this episode here. The traveling is going to be a big factor in this whole season schedule here, and that's why I said I'm going to be revisiting some of my older takes on everything. But I don't think this is going to be a tough one. I don't think it's going to be too tough. This is going to be the start of our little home stretch, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like you guys call it, Levi South, and then we're going to be home for a couple of games. I'm not really worried about the Rams. Those are the teams, though, that's usually the time when you get caught slipping, when the fans are overconfident, players start seeing the tweets and stuff like that, and maybe they're just a little bit more relaxed than they should be. But I still think the Niners should get a dub in this one.
Yeah. Agreed. We got a super chat from Gray Fox 198. Appreciate the contribution. Hey, fellas, did you see how Shanahan talked about the rematch with the Eagles? First time I've seen him pissed off like that. It's personal, not only because of the NFC Championship game, but how his wife was treated by the Eagles fan base. Thank you again for your contribution. I did see it, and I had the tweet pulled up with the quote for that game, but we'll get into it now. Or I guess we'll save it. It'd probably be more fitting to save it for that game. All right, week 3, we'll get back to this. I promise. So, Gray Fox, week 3, the home opener, and if my math is correct, this is a Thursday night football game. They open up the home season on a Thursday night, short week, against the New York Giants, a playoff team from last year. This should be an interesting game off the top of my head, just from first glance. Matt, what do you make of this game?
This is probably going to be the first real test that they have during the season. And, not necessarily because the Giants are just some overwhelming team that's really good. They're fine. They have some pieces. You still don't trust Daniel Jones. I know that they're kind of still in a contract kerfuffle with Saquon Barkley. That's still a question mark. But just the short week in general, and, coming off of 2 back-to-back road games, and then you get a short week for your home opener, prime time. I think that is a difficult ask for both teams. I think the 49ers do pull it out, though. I think they win this one in a closer game than it should be. If the schedule was, if it was a Sunday game, I feel like they'd win more comfortably. But because it's a Thursday game, that makes it more difficult.
This one's interesting because the 49ers were very close to. I mean, if a couple of games went differently, they end up playing the Giants. I'm mistaking them for Minnesota, but it would have been interesting to see had these two teams faced each other in this past playoff round, but that didn't happen. But Daboll, Daniel Jones, like Matt said, Barkley. We'll see how it shapes out. It should be a good matchup at home Thursday night. I'm not loving the Thursday night to start the home, schedule, but it is what it is. Mike, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, you also, I agree with what Matt was saying. Also, this is going to be our toughest matchup. You got Saquon Barkley, who could potentially be playing for a contract. They just extended Daniel Jones, and they also got Darren Waller in the offseason. He has been a nightmare and a thorn in the Niners' side when he's healthy. So I could see that being someone that we have to watch out for. And at first, when I first did the schedule breakdown, I didn't look at the other teams and where they were playing and all that stuff. The Giants are playing Arizona, so they're not doing a lot of traveling. This actually, I think, benefits the Giants as far as that goes a little bit more. They're playing the Cardinals week 2 in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. So they're just going right down the road, so to speak. It's an hour flight, right? Like, I don't even know if it's that long. So they're going to probably stay west. They're going to be well rested and getting prepared for that game. But I if things go the way we think they should go, the Niners should be able to handle these guys pretty handily. Running backs don't usually run roughshod on us. I don't, as much as I respect Barkley and was cheering for him last year to just be a good player, I don't think that he's going to have one of those games. Now, again, Thursday nights in general, weird stuff happens. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Niners should be okay, though. And we should get this dub. I see it starting 3-0.
All right. I like it. Week 4, second divisional matchup already. This time at home again. So you have a 2-week, I guess, second of third week homestand. This one against the Cardinals. And this is a Sunday afternoon game. The Cardinals might be in an even worse position than the Rams, which I did not think possible going into this offseason. But Jonathan Gannon, I believe their new head coach, looks like a complete joke. Players, from the reports that are coming out of there, don't seem to have too much respect for him or not really buying in. The whole situation with Kyler, he's still a thorn in the 49ers side as far as just athleticism and them having their hands.
He's not even gonna be ready to play, though, I don't think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he tore his ACL pretty late into the season, right?
Late in the season. I think he's going to start I think he's going to miss the first 6 games probably.
That's a very good point. I totally forgot about that. So, hopefully Colt McCoy's not there to light us up like he always does. No, I'm kidding. I guess we'll see who they roll out under center. But again, this should be an easy win for the 49ers. In my opinion, they should be 4-0 up until this point. Matt, any other thoughts?
No, blowout.
Mike, any thoughts?
Same. This is coming off a Thursday night game. We get some extra rest here. Probably the most favorable as far as the scheduling goes, as far as travel and facing our opponents. The Niners should handle this one pretty handily, regardless of who's under center for the Cardinals. We should be able to be pretty good in this game. This is going to be a good confidence building game. This is the one right here where we should start seeing things click. The offense should finally start coming together at this time. Back-to-back home games, well rested. This team should come out firing on all cylinders. Maybe the best performance that the Niners have all season long, because from here on out it gets pretty rough.
Damn. All right. So then week 5, the third of 3 straight weeks at home. This is a Sunday night game against the Cowboys. A rematch of the divisional round matchup from last year. This one is going to be a doozy. It should be fun. I think the 49ers should have no problem taking on the Cowboys again. But this will obviously be the toughest game 5 weeks into the season. But with that said, I'm still confident in the 49ers ability to whoop that ass yet again for the third straight time in 2 years or 3 years, I guess, at this point. Matt, any thoughts?
Well, I'll say based off of how you're feeling about the game, I have a feeling that the 49ers are going to be feeling that too. I actually have the 49ers dropping this one to the Cowboys, who tend to be regular season juggernauts, and they tend to do a lot better in the regular season than they do in the playoffs. You've got the 49ers taking it to them in the playoffs 2 years in a row. The 49ers are going to be feeling themselves. The Cowboys are going to be bitter about it. I think it's a recipe when the 49ers are starting 4-0 just to let the foot off the gas a little bit. Start reading your own press clippings. 4-0. Look at, we're the best team in the league. We know we are. And this has all the hallmarks of a game where they just come out flat, which we know they do once or twice a season. And if you get flat against a regular season Cowboys team, you can end up down quick. I think this is the first loss of the 49ers season. And I think it's based off of their own mistakes rather than Dallas actually beating the team. I think this is one of those games where they just come out really flat and just can't catch up.
Mike?
I agree with some of what Matt was saying, but I also agree with you. I think the Niners should win this one, but I think this is going to be a lot like that Rams. I think it's going to be closer than what we expect it to be. I still think the Niners get this dub, but only because the Cowboys are going to treat this game like a playoff game, if that makes any sense. I think there's going to be a lot of in-house pressure coming from Jerry Jones and Steve. I think they're going to put a lot of emphasis on this game, so much so that the players on the Cowboys team come out a little nervous. I think we see some excitement from Micah Parsons. I think he's going to be a little bit too anxious, and maybe we can get him spinning around a little bit. You know, he's putting a lot of emphasis on gaining weight this offseason and, being a little bit more dominant and strong down in the trenches. And I think that the Niners tend to use players like that against their own, like they use it against them. The stronger the defensive lineman, the worse the games are for them, except if you're J.J. Watt for some reason, right? But when you think about guys like Aaron Donald, right? When we play against them, he doesn't usually give us nightmares, usually. And so I think Micah Parsons is going to be a little frustrated in this game, but it'll be, I think, a low-scoring game, and it's probably going to come down to like the last 2 possessions in the game.
Damn. All right. So 5 weeks in.
And by the way, I know that it's hard. People are going to freak out because they hate the Cowboys or whatever. This is all just speculation, people. They're not going to go 17-0. Like, I have to pick a game that they're going to lose eventually, right? Like, I'm trying to suss it out in my own mind. So I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, because I feel like all 3 of us feel that in any given week, the 49ers can win that game, no problem. Just over the course of 18 weeks, 17 games, you're not going to win them all.
Yeah. Agreed. So 5 weeks into the schedule, Mike and I believe, have the 49ers 5-0, and Matt has them 4-1. Correct? Okay. So 2021, the 49ers 5 weeks in, or 5 games in, because I don't remember when their bye was, 2-3. 49ers last year, 3-2. How much would being either 4-1 or 5-0 5 weeks into the season, just that little 1 to 2 game difference, help, in your guys' opinion, at the end of the year?
I'll go first, I guess. I think it's going to help a lot. I think if we do start the season 5-0, the starting position at the quarterback for the 49ers is solidified, regardless of who it is, right? If by chance Purdy is out there and he's 5-0, they're not making a switch. If it's Trey Lance and they're 5-0 or 4-1, they're not making a switch. The only way that some kind of switch is going to happen is if the offense just really continuously struggles. And so I think that is going to be huge for the Niners. They're going to have to go out there and play some good ball and solidify some of the most important positions on the field, the right tackle position, the quarterback position, So it's going to mean a lot. The first quarter of the season is going to be probably the most critical for the 49ers.
Okay. Yeah. I like that a lot. We saw last season at the end of the year, it was a 1-game difference for a bit between the 49ers and the Eagles for the number 1 spot in the NFC. And just looking back on those damn stinkers they dropped in the beginning of the year, thinking, damn, if they just had one of those. So that's why I just wanted to pause and ask how much that would actually help them. Matt, I don't know if you had anything else to add.
Yeah, no, I think it'll help them because I think that after really starting with the Cowboys, the next stretch of games, I mean that middle part of their schedule is pretty rough. So I think it's good to get out to a hot start because some of these games are going to be really difficult for them. So yeah, I don't think they can. I mean, you don't want to go 2-3 or whatever 3 years in a row. I don't think that's beneficial. And like Mike said, it's good to have everything solidified up front. I think in both of the last couple of seasons, it's a question mark of like, all right, what's going on here? What's going on there? We got injuries, this, that, and the other. So getting out to a fast start is going to be very, very important for this team. Kind of like they did in 2019, where they got off to a really fast start, and that carried them the rest of the way.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, let's get back to the schedule. So week 6, they go back on the road to Cleveland, and they face Massage Watson and the Browns. This will be an interesting game, in my opinion, because the Browns can be a viable team when everything is rolling. We haven't really seen it, but at times they were good. Granted, they were pretty good with Jacoby Brissett as well. Mike, I'm going to throw it back to you. What do you make of this game?
Trap game right here. The Niners are coming off of a Sunday night game. They have to travel to Cleveland, and the Browns are coming off of a bye week. They should be well rested, well prepared. They're going to be watching our primetime game at home and studying and breaking things down. They have a benefit here. So I think this could be a trap game here. Now we don't know what the Browns offense is going to look like with Watson under center. It did not look good all of last year, the games that he was able to play. If he's still that version of himself, then cool. But if he's not, and if he's who they thought, if Watson is who the Browns thought he was going to be, we could be in some trouble here. We could absolutely be in some trouble.
Matt?
I agree. I think they dropped their second in a row. I think that, traveling on the road, like Mike said, I don't necessarily think it's a trap game when the other team has as much talent as the Cleveland Browns do. I think they were undercut by the quarterback situation last year. I think that Watson coming off of that suspension, really rusty, not playing up to his potential. But if they get Houston Watson back, and with that defense, this could be a tough day for the 49ers for sure. And I know it's hard to, again, say that they're going to lose 2 in a row, but it's a tough ask to go from, again, Mike said they're on a bye week. This is another short week for the 49ers technically because they're playing Sunday night. So you travel again most of the way across the country. I know they have their little base in Youngstown or whatever that they can do work at, but it's not the same. And I think the 49ers could be in some trouble there.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. Unfamiliar opponent. They're not, it could go either way. I'm going to side with the Niners here just solely for the fact that I'm not siding with them in the following week. And that is a Monday night game against the Vikings on the road. Kirk Cousins, make all the Kirk Cousins jokes you want, but Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the NFL, and they just added another receiver in the draft. Alexander Madison is a hell of a back. I know that there's reports that they're going to be moving off from Dalvin Cook before the season starts, but the Vikings are still a formidable team, in my opinion, and I think the 49ers dropped this one. Mike, I'll throw it to you. What do you make of this game?
Yeah, there's a big part of me that says just Kirk Cousins prime time against Kyle Shanahan isn't gonna go well. But it's the schedule. We're like, I think that we look at the teams and we just quickly say win or loss, but you're again the short week, traveling, primetime game. I just don't know how well this goes. I have us losing to the Vikings. Even though it pains me to say it, I do have us losing this game to the Vikings. And you don't want to see that. It's our second primetime game, right? You don't want to see them dropping one there, but it's I think it's going to happen.
Now, see, I'm on the other side of the fence. Kirk Cousins is terrible in prime time, and Kyle Shanahan had. I mean, his love affair with Kirk Cousins is well documented. So, if anybody's going to know what Kirk Cousins does well and what he wants to do, it's going to be Kyle Shanahan. And I don't think that the Vikings are going to be nearly as good on defense as they have been. They just traded Zadarius Smith, I believe, away from the team. They've lost some people. Again, as Zach pointed out, Dalvin Cook is probably getting cut. And, I mean, Alexander Mattison, as good as he may be, I mean, Dalvin Cook's a beast when he's healthy. So that they're going to take a hit there. I know that they definitely drafted a wide receiver. But, again, counting on these rookie wide receivers, if you're looking for them to draft another Justin Jefferson, I just don't see it off rip. I know Justin Jefferson is good, but the 49ers, have enough in the secondary, particularly after the draft, that I think that they've done a good enough job that, we can at least limit what he's going to do. And the 49ers have shown that even if one of their guys gets off, even if Justin Jefferson has a hell of a game, we've seen it with DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, Hopkins has a good game, but the rest of the team doesn't do anything. So then the 49ers win anyway. I think this is one of those games where the 49ers come out and want to prove, especially, with me having them losing 2 in a row. I think this is a game where they come out and show out on prime time on a big stage. And so they get back on the winning ways, and they would be 5-2 at this point by my calculation.
Okay. I like it. So then let's see, this is going to be a hell of a game. Come back home for the Bengals on a Sunday afternoon, short week. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase and company come to town. Just side note, the 49ers Bengals game from 2021 is like one of my favorite games to rewatch from the past couple of years. Jimmy Garoppolo doing Jimmy Garoppolo things, but still put the 49ers in position to win that game. Hell of a game, hell of a George Kittle game. I don't know if they can pull this one off, man. This is like a 50-50 one for me. This is going to be a very, very tough game. Short week, traveling back home. I'll answer after you guys answer. Matt, what do you make of this game?
Yeah, this is going to be another one that I think that they lose. And again, Mike pointed out earlier with the Cleveland Browns game. It's what Cincinnati's doing, and they get a bye week before this game. So we're coming off another short week against another team coming off of a bye against, a really good Bengals team. Now, with the caveat that we don't know what the Joe Mixon legal situation is, and I don't want to speak on that. I guess there was some altercation at his house. I don't know if there's going to be discipline, pending investigations, whatever that was. But the Bengals are really good. And I think that they've done a lot to try to shore up some of their weaknesses. And I think it's a big ask of the 49ers to continuously do this thing where, okay, we're traveling to the East Coast or to the Midwest, and then we're traveling back home and we're playing a team coming off a bye week. And I think they do that a few times this year. And there was a very interesting thread that I think you posted in our chat, Zach, about how the 49ers, it's like negative 20 days rest for their in comparison to their opponents. It's like a whole
26
thing, but okay, 26. Yeah, but they have the worst comparative rest compared to the rest of the league or whatever. This is one of those games where I think they get caught just because the Bengals are a good team and it's a big ask to come back home off of a bye week. I think they drop this one.
Yeah, I have that thread ready to go after this. We're going to get into the kind of notes and the analysis about the set schedule. Mike, Bengals at home, short week.
Back-to-back losses I have here. I understand that we're at home, but we're traveling from Minnesota on Monday night to go out here to play the Bengals. And they're coming off of a bye week. Again, they might already be out west, getting ready. Even though we're the home team, it doesn't favor the Niners as far as scheduling goes. It's to me, it's okay. I know we're not at week 9 yet, but back-to-back losses, that would put us at 6-2. I have us at maybe 5-3 going into
I
the
have
bye
them at
week.
5-3.
Yeah, right. And so, I mean, I wouldn't be upset if we lost to them. Let me be very clear with what I'm saying. The Niners are no pushover for any team on our schedule. No, I don't see us getting blown out by anybody, by a single team on the schedule. I don't see a blowout happening just because we're that good of a team. I think we're well coached. I love our coaching staff. The Bengals have a good coaching staff as well. And they have invested a lot in that offensive line to get some more protection for Burrow and everything over there. Wilkes is the kind of guy that likes to blitz. And I don't know if you guys saw the clips going around with Joe Burrow saying, yeah, you can't zero me. Like, they zero blitz him and he's got the out. He's ready for it, you know? And they tend to make big plays when that happens. I think Wilkes will dial it up a little bit, knowing that, you know, they're how good of a team they are. He doesn't want those wide receivers to go crazy on his secondary, and that's kind of his baby back there, right? So he's going to want to try to protect those guys. I think he does that by trying to dial up extra pressure, and that could bite the Niners in the butt. So I have them losing this one.
This is going to be a great game. We haven't talked about this as a group, but like, this is one I'd definitely be down to go to. I know Christian had said earlier before the schedule came out, that his wife was trying to see Joe Burrow. So maybe this could be a game we plan to meet up at, but we'll discuss that at a later date. And then, 49ers after this game go into their bye week. Mike and I have them at 6-2. Matt has them at 5-3. Just want to note, I guess I should say, week 9 bye week. How perfect is that? Like, the 49ers luck out here. At least it's not like week 4, week 5, something crazy early. All right. Following week 10 at Jacksonville. So they have 2 weeks to get to Jacksonville. This is going to be a tough game. It's not going to be like the last time the 49ers played the Jags. The Jags are a legitimate competitor now, playoff team from last year. Matt, I'm going to throw it back to you. What do you make of this one?
This is another loss for me. Historically, the 49ers coming off a bye under Kyle Shanahan, he has a losing record coming off the bye. It's another East Coast early game. And Jacksonville has improved. So I don't know. I think that this is another one that they drop. I have them now at 5-4.
Damn. Mike,
I'm not buying the Jacksonville hype. The Niners mop the floor with these boys. And I'm going to tell you why. One, we're coming off of the bye week. That's very, very important. We get a chance to go back and recalibrate. You give Kyle Shanahan some extra time. He's going to come up with the perfect plan. And by this point, Steve Wilkes will know what his defense is and isn't. All right. He's going to know exactly what he's working with. And I think that he's going to, if he has to, maybe go back into some of the old film and see what the things that Saleh was doing and things that D'Amico Ryans was doing. And so I think the Niners are going to go out there and put their foot in the Jaguars' ass. Not only that, we have to keep in mind, like, the Niners. I get it when they travel down the floor, those Florida teams and things like that. Like, it can get a little shaky. I don't see that happening in this game. I know a lot of people were like, oh, the Jaguars got really good, and you know that comeback that they had in the postseason and all that got people really, really hyped. Listen, they had one of the weaker schedules in the NFL last year. They benefited from playing a 4th place schedule also. It's very different now. It's very, very different. The Jaguars are going to be looking for who they really are. I never was one of those people who believed in Lawrence. I'm not saying that he's not good. I think he's very overrated. Very, very overrated. The checkdowns and all that stuff that he likes to do across the middle, it's not going to work well with this linebacking core. The Niners are going to go out there, and this is a statement game right here. This is a get-right game. And, again, I have them coming off of back-to-back losses going into the bye week. This is the get-right game, and this is going to set us on pace for the rest of the season.
So I don't know. I think this could either go either way, right? But I think the 49ers are going to win this one convincingly. I think the 49ers win this like.
Which one of the team executives reached out to you before y'all did this video?
I see 31-10 49ers in Jacksonville.
Y'all are wild. You have them at 7-2 after 10 weeks.
They won
Why
8
not?
straight games last year.
I would kill for that, but I don't know, man.
And see, and that's the other thing, right? Zach just said it. They won 8 games last year, and
that was last year. That's old shit. Let's not talk about that. That's old shit.
Why are you afraid of the Jaguars? That was last year. That's old shit. You should not be afraid.
Because they got better, bro.
And you don't think the Niners got better?
Listen, hold on. I gotta pick games. All right, I gotta pick fucking games.
Who?
We're gonna differ down the road. I'm telling you, we're gonna differ down the road.
Okay, all right. We'll break it all down after we're all done with the schedule. We're over halfway. All right, week 11. Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Bucks come to town. The
49ers win 56-0 next.
Yeah, I think we could all agree is the 49ers dub. All right. First matchup against the Seahawks. I believe this is Thanksgiving, if my math is correct. November 23rd, Thursday night game.
My birthday is Thanksgiving. Yes. Yeah, this is the one right here, baby.
I have the 49ers winning this game, and I have it with a Jake Moody kick to end it as time expires. Jake Moody, Hufanga, Fred Warner eat turkey legs on the middle of the field. Yes, I'm still scarred from Richard Sherman and Russell Wilson doing it to christened Levi Stadium. That still hurts, but that's all right. The 49ers will get one back here, and I have them winning as time expires. Jake Moody field goal. Matt, I'm going to throw it to you.
Remember how I said 4-2, 5-1 in the division? This is going to be the one that they lose. They just typically don't play well in Seattle. It's Thanksgiving. They don't want to be there. It's probably going to be raining in Seattle because it always rains in Seattle except for like June and July. So it's going to be a close game, but I think they dropped this one, and now they're 6-5 in my book on the season.
Do you have 4 out of 6 losses? 4 out of the 6 losses?
I have them trading. Yeah, losses a lot. Yeah. Whew. Toughest part of the schedule right there.
Hey, what you really buying the Geno Smith shit? Like, are you serious, Matt?
Let me cook.
I don't know if anybody should eat what you're serving, bro. Like this is it's not a good look.
Listen, you can't pick apart the meal halfway through the prep. Let me give you the finished fucking plate.
All right, okay. I gotta see because right now it's not looking good for our Niners based off of what Matt's doing. Right now we're a middle of the pack team. We're hovering around 500, right? With your schedule, with your record so far.
Yep.
Whew, man, oh man. Now listen,
I'll give you my logic. Okay. It's a new defensive coordinator, one that does not run the same system that the 49ers run. Okay. It's similar, but not the same. You got new personnel who you're counting on to make an impact. You have questions at right tackle. You have questions at quarterback. All right. Early on in the season, the 49ers typically tend to come out flat. They don't typically play well in the first half of the season. They do all their damage in the second half of the season. With some of these tougher opponents and how much they've had to play, teams coming off bye weeks, this is where I think the middle part of the schedule becomes difficult for them. That's just what I'm saying.
And while I hear what you're saying and respect and accept it, this is the second half. You guys losing 2 or 3. So my thing is this, and while I like what you said about the whole,
I prefer to look at it as the middle third, not the second half. You know what I'm saying? It's the middle third.
Okay. All right. I like that. Now, while I subscribe to what you're saying with the new defensive coordinator, we have to remember the Niners are returning to their roster. Let me be clear with how I say this. They're returning 21 of 22 starters. There's not going to be a lot of different personnel in and out of this lineup. And even if it weren't, the Niners suffered a significant amount of injuries last year. It wasn't as significant as some previous years, but we suffered a lot. So even our backups are well versed, and these guys are going to come in here ready to play. They're gonna be ready to play, and I don't think the Seahawks, now they did get a wide receiver that I liked in this draft. I don't think the Seahawks are gonna come out here and pose some crazy threat out of nowhere. I don't see it. They did play the Niners the hardest with Brock Purdy in there. I think that one game we only put up like 21 points or something, like 21-10 or something like, or I can't remember what the final score was.
13,
that was the lowest scoring game that the Niners had all season with Brock Purdy as the starter. But I'm not worried about them. I don't see the Seahawks posing a threat to the Niners at all. This could be one, because it's on a Thursday night, a short week and things like that. We're home against the Bucs, and then we're flying north to Seattle. But again, a short flight. I think they're going to be well prepared for them. I don't know what the Seahawks are coming off of or who they're playing the week before that. I don't even remember when their bye is, so I won't pretend that I have that information right here. But I'm not worried about the Seahawks. It's this. I think that the rivalry is going to flip the way that they kind of dominated us. That 2010, 11, 12 seasons. I think we're taking that back now. I do.
I agree.
All I'm saying is that it's exceedingly hard to go 6-0 in your division. And if they don't lose to the Seahawks, they're not losing to the Cardinals or the Rams. That's for damn sure. They're not. Those teams suck. If they lose to those teams, they got bigger problems. At least Seattle should be in the mix for like a wild card spot.
So
at the very least,
I hear you, but wouldn't it make more sense for them to drop the one? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. This is the one in Seattle.
Yeah,
I
right.
thought this
That's
was
what
the
I'm
one.
saying. This is at Seattle. That's what I'm saying. Look,
I can understand it.
Short week, they're probably going to dominate Tampa Bay. So again, it's another thing. Sometimes when they get these big wins, they come out flat the next week. That's just this team's MO. I'm just going off based off what I said. And like I said, I got, all right, we can move on, but they got to lose some games. Fuck, man.
Quick question, because Ben V brings up a good point. If they're 6-5 at this point, and change this with Purdy or Lance, whoever the quarterback has been through 11 games, there has to be talk of a swap, right?
No, I don't think so, because when I'm looking at these games, it's not necessarily the offense that's letting them down. It's going to be a defensive struggle here and there. It's going to be Jake Moody trying to get his NFL sea legs and maybe misses an important kick or something like that. Maybe there's, turnovers on the side. Maybe there's problems with the right tackle or whatever. I don't think it's necessarily just the quarterback.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to disagree for a very good reason, right? The Niners right now are in a very, very unique position. They went out and they drafted this guy named Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy came in and lit the league on fire, surprised everybody, including Niner fans, right? I think he even surprised himself, if he were to be honest with you, but who knows? Let's just say he didn't surprise himself. He knew he was going to play at that level in this system, in this offense, right? But they also drafted another guy named Trey Lance. Whoever is playing and they're at 6-5, the team has confidence in the other guy. This isn't like when Jimmy was here and it was Mullins behind them or CJ Beathard behind them, or even the unproven or this rookie Trey Lance behind him. These are guys that the Niners were confident saying, this is our starter in Trey Lance last year. They said that it was no competition at all. This is his team. And if you go back and you listen to the Dwight Clark, the 87 dinner that they had, listen to how Shanahan talked about both of these quarterbacks. When he first started, he was talking about Brock Purdy. Yeah, we have all the confidence in the world in him, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, damn, man, my guy Trey Lance doesn't stand a chance of getting the starting job. Then he started talking about Lance. Lance, he said, looked better than he did going into the season last year. Lance's finger and all that stuff was still prohibiting him, and he was learning to throw and hold the ball and all that stuff all over again. He said he has none of those things to worry about. The ankle is healing faster than what we thought it was. Lance looks better. So if he was ready to be the starter then, and let's say Brock is a starter this year, if we're at 6-5, they're going to say, hey, man, look, it's time to go ahead and put that investment out here on the field. On the flip side, if it's Purdy that's out there and he's at 6-5, they're going to say, all right, well, then let's see what Lance can do. If it's Lance that's out there struggling, they're going to say, hey, listen, this is the guy that won 8 games in a row.
But see,
that's the
fallacy in your argument, though. That's the fallacy in your argument. You assume that if the 49ers are 6-5, then it necessarily means that the quarterback is playing bad. And like you said, this is not Jimmy Garoppolo. This is not Nick Mullins. This is not CJ Beathard. The 49ers very well could be, because some of these defenses are going to be really good. Some of these offenses just might be a little more potent. And the team could just come out flat. Again, a special team screw up here, a lack of turnover here, or like maybe, a running back fumbles the ball here. It's not necessarily on the quarterback. So just because they're 6-5, if the quarterback's cooking, if the quarterback's sitting there with a 95 passer rating or 100 passer rating, you're not switching out that quarterback.
I hear you. But if let's just say 2 games come down to a made or missed kick, that means that the offense still isn't doing enough. That means that we needed 1 or 2 more scoring drives. I think they will
What if it's 38-35?
That's what I'm saying. That means it could have been.
If it's 38-35, you're not putting that on the offense. The defense needs to make a stop.
but maybe.
Okay.
I think you're giving 49er fans too much credit.
I was
Maybe
gonna
not
say
credit
that.
The fans will call for everybody's job before the end of the season because that's just how they roll.
True.
I'm talking about what the team is going to do. The team at 6-5, if the quarterback isn't the problem, they're not going to necessarily change out the quarterback.
Okay, all right. We'll leave that there because we could probably get into this. Yeah, two things. Mike, you said Brock Purdy surprised everyone, even himself. He surprised everyone but one person on Twitter who was blowing up 49ers hype since the moment they drafted him. I wish I knew his name. I think I muted him because the dude would not shut up about how Brock Purdy needs to be the starter. The 49ers don't know what they're doing, starting Trey Lance over him. Kudos to you, whoever you are, in like July and August of 2022. You were out there speaking your Brock Purdy truth. Kudos to you. All right. And I agree. 49ers fans are not that rational. They will not analyze things. But I know Matt's not talking about from
and
the
by the way,
this is
all just speculative. I'm trying to make it interesting since you two are in lockstep with each other. I got to make it interesting.
All right. This is the game we've all been waiting for. Week 13, a rematch in Philadelphia against the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll share our thoughts on this game, and then we'll get to Gray Fox's super chat. Mike, I'm going to throw it to you. How do the 49ers handle this game?
They win by 2 scores. It's that simple. The Eagles have new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. You got your guy getting banked this offseason. Normally that's the season when they struggle a little bit. Any star player, when he goes out there and gets the big bag, right? You think about bring it to the Niners, right? George Kittle gets the big bag, right? Down year for George Kittle. Fred Warner gets the big bag for the Niners. Down year for Fred Warner. I have no reason to change my thoughts on that now. I think that Jalen Hurts is going to have a season from hell. Teams are going to be prepared for him, well prepared for him, in fact. And they're going to make him be the reason they win or lose, right? You go back and you watch that Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts did everything right. He did everything right. He like counted for 3 or 4 touchdowns by himself, right? Like 3 passing, 1 rushing or something crazy like that, right? Wasn't quite enough. I think that Eagles defense is beyond overrated. Now, they were good. They had good players everywhere. I know that they set like league sack records and all that stuff for that entire defensive line and all that, right? Those things are cool. That's fun. But they made some very significant changes. If Matt's going to say that the Niners defense might take some steps back because of a switching defensive coordinator, I'm going to take Matt's mojo here and apply that to the Philadelphia Eagles. I think their offense and defense take some steps back. I think they want Jalen Hurts to be more of a passer, and that could hurt them. We saw that with, Colin Kaepernick, right? He was a dual threat guy. They asked him to stand in the pocket a little bit more. Can you be a little bit more patient? And it was downhill from there. I see similar things happening for Jalen Hurts. Niners win by 2 scores, man. Give me the dub.
Damn. All right. This is going to be a very, very interesting game.
I forgot to mention, this is our fake bye week type of thing here. 10 days between games. Don't forget that part either. We're coming off of a Thursday night game. Now, yes, we're traveling, but that travel gets nullified with the extra 2 or 3 days that we have to prepare for this game and travel. So I say the Niners are going to be in as good of a position as possible. This might be the blessing in disguise on the schedule right here.
I think the 49ers win this game. I don't know if they win it comfortably, but I think they have all of this extra motivation and this vendetta against the Eagles because they really do feel like something was taken from them in January in the NFC Championship game, and rightfully so. These guys, Fred, Debo, Ayuk, Trent, they didn't even have the chance to compete, which I think is kind of the worst feeling as a competitor is that was taken from you out of something completely out of your control. Somebody else is injured. Not even like you got injured. Somebody else got injured, and therefore you had no chance to even win this game. Two somebody's got injured at that for that matter. But I think the 49ers come out here, that extra motivation. Eagles are feeling we were going to win this game regardless. All y'all do is talk. It is what it is. They lost both coordinators. They lost a good amount of free agents. I know they drafted a couple high-value rookies, but they don't always translate, especially right away. I think the 49ers win this game. I don't know by how many, but I think they win it. Matt.
Well, I hate to disappoint everybody. Everybody's been disappointed in me so far. We not going 6-5. Listen, nobody thought they would be 3-4 last year. It's a lot of struggle. So I apologize. Everybody disappointed. I hate to disappoint everybody. So I'm going to stop doing it here. The Philadelphia Eagles are going down to the 49ers. I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. He's a one-trick pony. He's a one-year wonder. He performed well in a contract year. I still don't think that, everything last year was true to fact. You want to talk about the Geno Smith thing. Jalen Hurts, I watched him in college, man. This is smoke. It's all smoke and mirrors. The defense got worse. We took one of their best defensive players and stuck him on our defensive line. It's going to be a huge, huge retribution game. I think I'm with Mike. They beat the Eagles by double digits.
All right. I love it. All right. So after this, go ahead.
Wait, because I know there was a super chat. You guys said something about Shanahan's wife. Yes. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So I was interested to hear about that.
I don't either.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but going back to January, I think there were maybe videos of fans being kind of, vile and they're being Eagles fans towards his wife in the stadium. If I remember correctly, could be wrong. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But Gray Fox, thank you for reminding me. Had commented earlier, how do we feel about how Shanahan talked about the rematch? First time he's seen Shanahan pissed off like that. It's personal, not only because of the championship game, but because of how his wife was treated by the Eagles fan base. And the quote that I saw, maybe there was something else. This is a quote I saw. He said, "I'm glad we're not playing Philly week 1. I want to play them at a better time. I want to make sure our whole team is right there. We feel like we didn't get to do it last time, and I'm ready to go back again." This is uncharacteristic, in my opinion, for Kyle Shanahan. Maybe also acknowledging Matt and Mike's point that they traditionally start slow. He's saying, I'm glad we're not in that first half of the season. Week 13, we should be rolling on all cylinders. So I don't know if you guys have anything else to add about that.
I have felt confident in this game since I saw Debo talking about who was going to win the Super Bowl. When he was on with the I Am Athlete podcast, right? He was talking about how that Eagles secondary was super overrated. He showed some respect to the safety. He was like, with those corners, trash. He didn't even hesitate. And he threw up a very, very important thing. He said, did you see Ayuk on that play that Purdy got hurt? Yep. Wide open, trash. They had a very, very good plan for this defense. They had the confidence oozing out of the Niners team after a embarrassing loss, by the way. Box score loss didn't get any worse than that, probably in the last 4 years for the Niners. I can't think of a time that we lost by that many points since Shanahan's been here, right? And you go out and you pop off at the mouth that way. That's why Eagles fans were like, why are they talking so much, right? Eagles fans didn't quite get it. Like, we just handed you guys the worst loss of Kyle Shanahan's tenure as a head coach, and we're going to the Super Bowl, and you guys are bad-mouthing us like something's wrong. There was a plan. There was a plan in place, and we did not get to see it executed. And I think that carries over. Now, a different defensive team.
Eagles fans were saying that was the worst loss of Kyle Shanahan's career. That's bullshit, man. That was snatched out of our hands before we even had a chance. So how's that the worst loss of his career? Well, it might have been the toughest loss of his career, but
I just meant points. Like again, box score watching is like, look, we blew you guys out. Like, who did that? The Niners didn't get blown out all season. Like, it was that kind of thing, right? Yeah. But and while I don't subscribe to that either, like I understand like the context to it. The Niners are just like ready. They're like chomping at the bit. And I think the reason Kyle Shanahan said, and I just heard this from Zach, right? I think the reason why Kyle Shanahan said he's happy they're not playing them week 1, he wants to see what that new defensive scheme is. He is going to be dialed in. You can bet everything that you have. I'm not saying that you can bet everything you have that we're going to win. He's going to have this team ready. He's going to know what the defensive scheme is. He's going to know it inside and out. And he is going to have the plan, not a plan. He's going to have the plan for this team because he wants his boys to know that if we had have played them healthy, we would have been in the Super Bowl. Yeah. This is Kyle's chance to send a message to his players. Like, we had a plan. We were the better team. We were going to the Super Bowl. Last year was our year, and it was robbed from us. Protect the quarterback, right? And go out there and execute. And that's what we're going to see here. This is the game that everybody circled on their calendar. I even saw something from Eric Armstead this week, who doesn't talk shit at all. I saw a bunch of articles and tweets talking about how Eric Armstead felt about this game in particular. This is the one right here. Forget the revenge tour and all that stuff. The tour is for this one right here, week 13. This is the
Also,
game right here that we go for.
Just to add to what Mike was saying about how Eagles fans were talking after this game, I feel like I lost brain cells reading Eagles fans say, well, Brock Purdy doesn't play defense. Why'd the defense still give up X amount of points? It's just like,
right, because the offense can't stay on the field because we have to run the ball every down. Stupid. I know. There's three things that are assured in this life: death, taxes, and Philadelphia fans are the worst. In every sport, in every situation.
Yep.
I've never seen such an overall group of angry people who are just like shittier to other people. I don't understand. Mike, you live in Pennsylvania, right? Is Philadelphia really that bad?
No, believe it or not. I think they pride themselves on trash talk in sports in particular. And all the Philadelphia games I've gone to 76ers games as a Hornets fan with my Hornets gear on and things like that, right? I don't get heckled. It could be because of my size. I that part I won't pretend like doesn't play a factor in it. However, I haven't had any bad experiences going to any games. I usually go every time the Eagles and Niners play here. I usually go to those games. I try to go to the Giants games and all that. Philly fans are just a passionate bunch, and they'll give it to their own people as well. Here's the difference, though. When they won the way that they did, the reason I think they chirp so much was because not Niners fans, our players were talking so much shit. I think it was just batteries in their back, and so I just think that's why you saw that kind of stuff. Oh, well, the defense didn't do whatever. What happened to look at what we did to the number one defense in the NFL, right? Like, yeah, they were on the field for 48 minutes. Like, what, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So, like, they just didn't understand it. And so now it's time for some get back. And this is when it happens right here.
Yeah. All right. So we all have a win on this game. Let's move on to week 14.
What do you guys have the 49ers at right now? You have them at what, 9-2 or some shit?
I think I have 3 losses so far. I have
you have Cleveland and Minnesota,
Vikings.
and that's it.
No. I got Bengals, Vikings, and Browns. I think
Yep.
I have us losing to the Browns.
You do.
Bengals, Vikings, and Browns. You have them losing?
Yeah.
Damn, 3 losses in a row?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And Zach, what do you have them? 2 losses,
9.
right?
So when I realized that this Seahawks game, week 12, was in Seattle, I changed it because I initially had week 14, but I mistakenly thought that was the away game.
And
so I have 3 losses.
Gotcha. Okay.
In complete transparency, normally I would give the Cowboys the win. I don't have a drop of blood in my body that will ever allow me to pick the Cowboys over the Niners. I hate them more than any other team in the entire NFL. I will never, even though if we lost that game, I'd be like, yeah, I can see it, right? Like that's the game. I don't want to pick the Browns, but I'm going to give the Cowboys dub to the Browns instead of giving it to the Cowboys, if that makes any sense. I'm never picking the Cowboys.
Got it. The numbers still add up. The numbers still add up in the end.
Right.
Right.
All right.
And I have them at 7-5.
Okay. All right. Okay. So week 14, home game, December 10th versus the Seattle Seahawks. I got them winning this one. I switched it from the week 12. Like I said, I think they're winning this one comfortably. We're going to see something similar to what we saw in the wild card round. Just an absolute ass whooping. Matt?
I have the 49ers winning this one as well, pretty comfortably. Again, I think that much like you guys, the trajectory of this rivalry has changed, and I think the 49ers are going to go on a run. I just think that, it wasn't easy and isn't going to be easy to win in Seattle, but the same holds true for the Seahawks. They're not going to be bullying us in Levi's Stadium anytime soon. So the 49ers, off the back of a big win with, a full week's rest, they come back and take care of business at home against the Seahawks.
Mike?
I'm going to give us a loss in this one. I'm going to give us an L here. I know that I talked to you guys about how important this game was to the team. And you guys told me how important this game was to Kyle, right? They're going to put everything they have into this East Coast game against the Eagles. So now we're traveling back west against Seattle, and I want to see who they play week 13 and where they are. Seattle is going to be playing – I'm trying to pull it up now. Sorry. I want to see if they're – how much traveling they're going to actually have to do. Here we go. So week 13 – they are. Is this right?
Washington. Oh, they have a bye week. They must have a bye.
Yeah. They're coming off a bye. Yeah, this is going to be a loss. We're traveling here. They're prepared. I think we're going to lose this game. The Niners are going to put everything they have into that Eagles game. They're going to come home a little flat, and I think we lose this one right here. This is going to be the only loss we have in the division. Just so
wait. But even coming off a bye, are you really buying into the Geno Smith thing?
Absolutely
are you really
not.
scared?
No.
I'm throwing what you said to me earlier back at you.
Oh, I know, and I'm prepared for it. Absolutely not. No, the Niners are just going to be flat. We could be playing against the little giants. Rick Moranis is going to out-coach Kyle Shanahan.
The little tykes.
Now, see, this is where you and I differ. I feel like they get their flat games out early, and I don't think there's no more flatness. I think they get electrified by that Philadelphia win, and they start to really gel and come into their own. All the early season shakeups with Steve Wilkes and the rookies coming in, and the shuffling of positions, the loss of Jimmy Ward, you're cycling people in and out. This is where they start to take form. So
get that electric feeling at the bottom of your nutsack. Things start to heat up. You know what I mean?
No.
That's all I'm saying. I don't know what it means either, but it gets the people going. It's provocative.
I was hoping Matt would know what it means since he's a medical professional, but I guess I got to go get it checked out.
Before? Like, what does that mean? Have you taken a taser to the sack?
Like, you put like Nair on there or something? Are you grooming with Nair? What's happening?
Nair and aftershave at the same time. See what hits the skin first.
Oh my God!
You feel that way down.
Here. You can advertise on this channel right here, Manscaped. Yep. Get your ad in right now.
Yep. Feel it way down, deep down in your plums.
All right. Back to this. By the way, did the 49ers go 6-0, if I remember correctly, in the division last year? They did, right? They went undefeated in the division. Hell of a thing to do.
It'll be first time in Shanahan's.
That's why I don't think they do it twice.
Phil DeB says, Mike, the 49ers could come really pumped by their win over the Eagles. But, hey, a high-energy game often leads to a letdown. So I do get where Mike's coming from. A lot of emotion, a lot of energy is going into that Week 13 matchup. What could happen after that is anyone's guess. All right, Week 15, the 49ers go on the road to Arizona to face the Cardinals on a Sunday afternoon game. I think all of us have a dub. Am I wrong?
Not wrong. No. And by that time, that little shrimp, Kyler Murray should be back. I don't think that he's going to offer anything up. By this time in the season, we're going to know what Jonathan Gannon is as a coach. I don't think it's going to be anything good. I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be really unhappy and wanting out.
He already does want out.
This is another game that just the 49ers can just completely dominate. I'm not worried about the Cardinals in any way, shape, or form, road game or not.
Coming off a loss from Seattle, they're going to be fired up and pumped. They're going to be looking to get back on track. Guys, we are the team that just beat the defending NFC champs, right? Like, we're here now. Like, come on, guys, let's bounce back. This is why we can't get too big-headed. This is why we can't get over ourselves, get too high on ourselves. Let's stay focused. Let's get back in the books, and we're going to come out and put up a dominant performance for the next couple of games here.
All right. I love it. So now this next game is a very interesting one for me. Christmas Day on ABC, the Christmas night game, by the way, 5:15 p.m. versus the Ravens.
Oh,
At
good.
home.
I'll have time for my daughter's first Christmas and get that out of the way before I can watch this game.
What day of the week is this game on? Is this a
It's
Saturday?
a Monday.
Monday.
Christmas Day is the Monday.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So I don't know how to put my finger on this game. The Ravens have been very hit or miss, but Lamar is like the exact thing the 49ers defense struggles with the most. So I don't really know how to judge it. I guess I'll let you guys go first, and I'll be a follower based off of what you guys think. I don't know. Mike, you want to go? Or go ahead, Matt.
No, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I got him with a loss here. And I know I just talked about, they're going to go and finish strong after the loss of the Seahawks, right? I do have this one being a loss. And I don't have a really good reason. Let me be very clear here. They got OBJ. They drafted a good wide receiver as well. They got some help for Lamar Jackson, but that contract is in. I said it about Jalen Hurts. I'm going to say the same thing about Lamar Jackson here. Highest paid player in NFL history on a what is it, per year basis. I think that the Ravens come in here. I don't know who they played the week before or where they are. I know we are the home team here, but the 2 losses at home in a row is going to really, really piss the 49ers off, and it's going to set us up for a very, very strong run down the stretch. But I am going to give them a loss here. I hate to say that. We have 3 games on holidays this year. 3. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. And right now, it's not looking good for the 49ers on holiday games. So,
damn. All right, Matt.
So to answer Mike's question, they play at Jacksonville on Sunday Night Football the week before.
Oh, so they got a short. Well, it's a Monday night game. I was going to say it's a short week. They're traveling too, though.
It's a travel week.
Yeah,
shorter week.
Right. Maybe we can get a little something. I think it'll be a close game, but I'm just going to say that the Ravens edge us out. I think Lamar Jackson gets some crazy run down the end of the game or something, and they win it by a couple of points.
Okay. All right. Couple comments in here. Big Papa, the question is, will Lamar be injured yet? Who knows if he'll even be playing week 16? I mean, the last couple of years, if I remember correctly, he hasn't finished out the year. Let's see. Ben V says clinches MVP after this Monday Night Football game. Very interesting prediction. Matt, do you have anything to add here?
Oh, of course I do. Let me just be clear about this. I am not a believer in Lamar Jackson. There was a time when I was, but he has shown literally no improvement in his passing ability since his MVP season. He still throws way too much to the tight end. He still is way too flippant with the ball at times, and his accuracy can be all over the place. And people will point to the high completion percentage, but he throws a lot of stuff underneath. He gets a lot of dump offs and a lot of easy looks. Quarterbacks who rely mostly on their legs and who don't improve as passers typically tend to start a downtrend in their career earlier than other quarterbacks. Mike, you want to say something already?
I do. I'm just got my hand up so I don't forget what I want to say. So you can ignore me. You can finish your thought.
No, I mean, you're in it now. Go ahead.
You're saying that he throws a lot to running backs and tight ends, but like you can't name 2 respectable wide receivers that he's had. It's impossible. They don't exist.
But is that because of the way that, again, this is that debate of, is it Greg Roman or is it Lamar Jackson? We're going to find out this year. But I watched Lamar Jackson play in college, so I know it's Lamar Jackson. That's just the way it is. He wasn't accurate in college. That's why he was picked at the tail end of the first round, even with all that athletic ability in the world. And he still throws a lot of the same passes that he threw in college. And it's one of those situations where it's easy to take the blame off the player, but at the same time, you have to put in the work. Again, we had this conversation a couple weeks ago. It's like everybody talks about Lamar Jackson's athletic ability, but I see the same passes, and we're going to find out if Lamar Jackson is going to be able to have a little bit of wide receiver help. I know Odell Beckham is not like the best wide receiver in the world, but I believe they drafted a wide receiver as well. So there's going to be some talent on the outside, and we'll see what happens. But at the same time, I mean, good quarterbacks. I'll just put it to you this way. Tom Brady didn't play with any good wide receivers for many years. Post Randy Moss, he played with a lot of trash, and he still was able to throw the ball downfield, get the ball wherever he wanted to get to, yada, yada, yada. The great ones will make it work. The great ones will elevate the talent around them. I just don't see that out of him. I'm not a believer in Lamar Jackson. I will just say that the 49ers are going to win this one, and I think it's going to be fairly easily. I think that the more that teams see Lamar Jackson's athleticism, the better they are prepared for it. And the 49ers, one thing that I will say with Javon Hargrave and, with players like Drake Jackson and with Nick Bosa, the defense is starting to look a little faster. So if they can contain him, I don't think they have anything else. And I don't think that defense is where it was before. So I have the 49ers winning this one pretty easily.
All right. By the way, Mike, the greatest 49 says Hollywood Brown was 1,000-yard wide receiver with Baltimore. Just throwing that out there. Also said,
yeah.
Go ahead.
He's absolutely right, and that's the one time he had a good wide receiver. He used them. That's kind of my point, though. That's why I said, can you name two? I was very clear with what I said. Can you name two? And you can't. That's why I asked that. This team has not invested a lot in them. They get him an older OBJ. They got him an older with Sammy Watkins, 2 years too late, right? They get him OBJ, and they go out and get Zay Flowers in the draft, who's a really, really good weapon, not just a wide receiver. This kid can line up in the backfield as well. He can do kickoff returns. This is an explosive player that they went out and got for him. And by this point in the season, they found their groove. It's there. We're too late to say, oh, he's just a rookie or whatever. These guys know their roles. They're going to be defined. They're going to come in there and they're going to be ready to play. We have to remember that we are the 49ers. Every team is going to put their best up against us. The days of us having Brian Hoyer and being overlooked, starting 0-9 and all that stuff, those days are gone. Every team we're going to get their best every single time they come into play the 49ers. So it's going to be a drag out match right there.
I think I have the 49ers winning this game after much deliberation between the three of us. I think, A, we don't even know if Lamar will be playing by this point. Over the last couple of years, he hasn't. And B, I just think the 49ers, even if he is, are just flat out the better team. And yes, he may cause some headaches due to his mobility, due to his style of play. But I think the 49ers can live with that and still come out with the win. So I'm giving them the win here for me. All right. Next game. So going from Christmas Day to now New Year's Eve, 10 a.m., traveling to Washington. Seems like we play the Commanders damn near every year. I don't know how this shapes out.
I was actually surprised we didn't play the Bears this year. We seem to play them every year too.
Good point. All right. So at Washington, second to last game of the year, New Year's Eve at 10 a.m., early game. Who the hell is going to be playing quarterback for Washington? I don't know. I forget who they have. I'm giving them a dub just based off of what I know right now, and what I don't know still doesn't change it. So, Matt, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, I have the 49ers winning this one comfortably. This is a franchise in flux. Even their sale is a complete mess. This is one of the worst run franchises in the NFL. They don't have anybody at quarterback. This team has first overall pick written on it for me. I don't, whether it's Heineke or whether it's Sam Howell or whether it's whoever else, it doesn't matter. This team stinks. They somehow managed to make Chase Young seem like he was drafted too high, if you can believe that. And I still think Chase Young is a hell of a talent, but there's just no development there. Riverboat Ron has fallen into the water at this point. I just don't believe in anything that the Washington Commanders do. They couldn't even get their name change right. Just everything they touch turns to shit. So this is going to be a 49ers victory pretty easily.
Mike?
Early game, short week, and we're traveling. No one mentioned that. We go from Monday night to early Sunday, and we're coming from the West Coast all the way back east. we still blow them out, though. I just wanted to put that out there. I want to put a little bit of suspense on it. We should, but we're going to blow them out, but not the way that we should. It'll probably be a game where the final score ends up being something like 24 to like 16 or something. You know what I mean? Like respectable win when it's all said and done. But we're gonna struggle against a team that we probably, when I say struggle, I mean we're not going to be as dominant. Okay, let me be very clear what I'm saying. We're going to have a couple of 3-and-outs or some just plays where we throw the ball and no one's in the area, or guys are running wrong routes and things like that. There's some adjustment. We have the second most travel miles in the entire NFL, only to Seattle, because we're in the same division. They're a little further away from the rest of the country than we are. So only second to Seattle. And, again, we weren't done any favors by the schedule makers the second half of the year. It's a lot of home, away, home, away, home, away, home, away the second half of the season. Or I guess the third, as Matt would call it, right? Is that what you broke it up into thirds, right? Okay.
The third.
Yeah, so it gets a little rough here, but we might come out a little flat, but we're gonna dig deep. I think we pull one out here and we win this one as well.
Okay, all right. Super chat from our guy Gray Fox. I just got off the phone with Kyle and he was working on the game plan for the Eagles. Quote, "I'm putting 40 plus on them." His words. I love it. Very conservative estimate by Kyle Shanahan. I love it. I got
the same call. He's right.
Yep. Thanks for your contribution to the show, Gray Fox. Appreciate it very much. Joey added, "What's worse is that Heineke isn't even there. It's Howell or Jacoby."
Okay, well, that's really bad then. That just shows you how bad the Washington franchise is, that I don't even care to figure out who's on their team.
Yeah. It doesn't matter, but I agree. All right, last game of the year. Rams at home, to be determined when this game will occur, but I don't think it matters. 49ers are going to play Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Tuesday. Doesn't matter what day. 49ers win in this game. Anyone else?
I'm adding up the losses here. I have it with 5 losses right now. So that puts us at 11-5. I don't get the whole to be determined thing. I don't think that the division is going to be on the line. So I don't think
the to be determined is because the last week of the season, when there's no college bowl games, they do the Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, okay. They do the Saturday joints. Okay. But yeah, I'm not one to, really fear other teams, but the Rams are a shell of themselves here. I think McVay could be retired by this point or something. I'm going to just pretend that everybody's there. The Niners still get the dub. I'm not worried about it. We're at home. We're going to give the Levi's fans something to cheer for while we're at home here. They're going to have a lot to cheer for in this game, and we're going to look good. It's going to be convincing fashion.
Okay, I like it. Matt?
The 49ers, for me, pick up their 6th straight victory to close out the season. They finish 12-5 by my count, and they go into the playoffs riding another big winning streak. The team is gelled. They're ready to go, and they're right there challenging for that number 1 overall seed in the NFC. I don't think that the Eagles are going to be able to get out to what they did last year. I think that there's going to be too much competition with the Giants and the Cowboys in their own division. I think they lose, obviously, to the 49ers. That puts a lot of losses on them. The 49ers are going to be right there. The Rams have nothing. I mean, like Mike said, McVay might not even be there. I mean, we can probably count on maybe 1 or 2 more Matthew Stafford injuries. Unfortunately for him, I don't wish injury on anybody, but he just seems to be snake bit at this point in his career. They bet the farm. They sold everything for that. They sold their soul for that Super Bowl. And now, the devil's coming to get his due. And it's going to be a long stretch for the Rams before they're good again. Hopefully you enjoy that, Jim Everett the Great, wherever you are in here. I know you're lurking, but they're going to suck this year.
Another cool thing, a little bit of poetic justice, so to speak here. The schedule makers did us a favor. I know we're coming from Washington and then flying home for this game. The Rams are playing the Giants on the East Coast also, the game the week before. So that nullifies all the travel and all that stuff. So it levels the playing field for us. So we absolutely benefit from that.
Yeah. Have some notes here. Our guy Joey sent me these. 49ers stand out as the team that was negatively impacted the most from the schedule. They have a negative 20-day net rest edge. How is this possible? Well, for starters, they play 4 teams coming off of bye weeks. Week 6 at Cleveland, who have a week 5 bye. Week 8 versus Cincinnati, who have a week 7 bye. Week 10 at Jacksonville, although both 49ers and Jacksonville have byes in week 9. And then week 15 at Arizona, who have a week 14 bye. And Warren Sharp put out a really, really good thread about just how the schedules can impact, or excuse me, how the NFL impacts the schedules. And it really is crazy to see how it works out, I guess, for lack of a better term. I'm trying to pull it up right now. Matt, is there anything you wanted to go ahead, Mike? Go ahead.
There were 2 more paragraphs in that write-up that were interesting. I want to read them really quick. It says 49ers play Monday night in Minnesota in week 7. Thus, the 49ers are coming off a short week road game with the reduced rest, while the Bengals are coming off a bye week, right? So that's a short week. And then we have to play the Bengals, who are on the bye. Additionally, the 49ers must face the Seahawks late in the season, week 14, when Seattle is off a nice mini bye, having played week 13 on Thursday night and obtaining plus 3 days of rest advantage over their division rival 49ers in week 14. So yeah, that was a solid article. I saw that same article as well. It was really well done. He didn't do it just for the Niners either. So if you guys are a fan of another team, make sure you guys find that article and check it out. It was a really good one.
So this is the thread I was referring to from Warren Sharp over at Sharp Football on Twitter. He talks about here, he has a list of every team with their net rest edge. The Jets, the Bears, Washington all lead with plus 12. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see the 49ers by their lonesome with negative 20. So just insane stuff.
So this is weird because the article that I saw had the Niners with negative 26, but they were second, the second worst one, with the Chiefs, I believe, were the worst one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, but it's interesting how they broke it down. I think that Sharp may have done his calculations a little bit different. I think the other person included like hours, maybe. You know what I mean? Like with the Niners starting earlier or later, things like that. So I think that's maybe how they broke it down. A couple of days difference there.
Could be.
So Matt, I apologize. I corrected Matt earlier when he said 20. I see what he was talking about now because he got it from there. I got it from a different one. So I apologize about that, Matt.
Yeah. No, all good. All good. It's kind of weird that the Seahawks play Thursday night 2 weeks in a row.
Well, the Niners have 2 Thursday games this year, right? The NFL talked about having 2 teams with 2 Thursday night games. Do the Niners have 2 of them or no?
I think
we
just
played
one.
week 3 or 4, and then I thought we did it again Thanksgiving. We play the Giants.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, we
have
right. 2 Thursday games.
Yep. Yeah. So the NFL.
But it's just weird that they have them two weeks in a row, though. I think that's kind of advantageous for the Seahawks to be able to do. I was gonna
say if you're gonna do it that way. That works out. It's more fair that way. Why won't they introduce a second bye week? I don't understand what the NFL is doing right now.
It makes
I don't know.
sense.
Remember back in the day, they used to have 2 bye weeks, and then they cut it down to 1. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
And if they did it now, the NFL would get what they're looking for in the Valentine's Day game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they're aiming for. Just go ahead and do it. Valentine's Super Bowl.
Also, I don't have it here, but the 49ers, I believe, lead the NFL in miles traveled, or they're very near the top. They're second, top 2, and they don't even have an overseas game.
Right. Seattle is first place. We're second.
It's insane, but hey, that's just the way it is, I guess.
It's part of it is because we play the NFC East this year. That's a big part of it. And then, we have just a couple of like far road games this year. So we have to go to Florida to play Jacksonville. We have to go to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. And so those miles, we have to go to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Like, it's just one of those. We go to Cleveland to play the Browns. Our road games outside of the division tend to be really far away this year. Whereas, in years past, we're playing like the AFC West. Okay. Levi's to Las Vegas or Levi's to Denver, not as bad as it would be otherwise.
So all in all, I have the 49ers at 14-3. What are you guys at?
12-5.
So funny, man. I was hating on Matt, but looks like we're serving the same meal, man.
I told you, let me cook, brother. I get you there.
12-5, man. But people like watching my preparation a little bit more. Maybe not. I had the 3 in a row. I had 3 losses in a row. I don't think you had that. So
no, I had 2 and then like trading losses.
Yeah. So it's all good. It equals the same thing. It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. And when it's all said and done, will 12-5 be enough to get the number 1 seed in the NFC? It might be this year. It really might be. So the Niners are going to have a lot to look forward to this year. If they go out there and handle business the way that we think they're going to, we should be in a really, really good place.
So Cynthia Freeland of the NFL Network has the 49ers projected win total at 11 wins. I mean, she has 10.9. I'm going to round it up to 11. She has that only behind the Eagles at 11.1. But if we're, rounding, let's just call it even. So it'll be a very, very interesting season to see how the NFC shapes out this year.
How do you come up with numbers like that? What the fuck is a 10.9?
I was thinking that as I was saying it, like I feel dumb even saying it, but that's how she said it. So I don't know. I'm sure she has her methodology in there if I read the article, but
yeah, I've seen the plus minus, like the 10.5, like I've seen that before for betting odds, but I've never seen 11.1 and 10.9. That's very strange to me. I don't know. Did she take averages of other people? Like, was it like a poll and then average the wins and losses maybe?
She used 53-man rosters to simulate 272 regular season games 100,000 times, yielding projected win totals for every team. So it's just, I guess, the numbers, how they shape out. The last thing I had on the agenda for tonight was just a quick topic about Christian McCaffrey, and talking about how being traded to the 49ers was, quote, the best thing that ever happened to him. Let me pull up this article here. I try not to support Pro Football Talk, but
while you're pulling that article up, we talked a lot about close games and things like that, Matt, throughout this duration. And I think what Zach is about to go into here, Christian McCaffrey is quite the ace. Right? He's quite the wild card for the 49ers. We haven't had cohesion amongst offensive skill positions like this probably in the franchise's history. And by the way, I was one of those guys that thought John Taylor was vastly underrated, right? Jerry Rice and John Taylor across from each other. And, you mix in all the other players that they had in those phenomenal 49ers offenses. I would still say that this offense might be better than what those guys had back then. You don't have all-pro wide receivers, all-pro tight ends, all-pro linemen, all-pro running backs, right? The Niners are loaded to the gills. And that's not when you look at on paper and say that this is going to be a close game, and you have to say who's going to win this close game. When you start looking at just the names on the 49ers offensive side of the ball, some of those close games, a lot of them should be decided by the Niners. Like we should take those wins. And I think that's key. We sit here and debate, Trey Lance or Sam Darnold or Brock Purdy, whoever it is that we want it to be, right? This team is good. Like, honestly, if we took just an average quarterback and put him back there, this team should be an 8-9 win team, right? If these guys come out there and do what they're supposed to do, and I really, really hope fans can adopt this mindset, if they go out there and do what they're supposed to do, whether it's Brock Purdy, whether it's Trey Lance, get behind whomever it is. Get behind them. And don't start, we should trade this guy, we should get rid of it. Cut that shit out. We're going to need these guys when it's all said and done, and we are loaded to the gills. And keep in mind, I think Elijah Mitchell is a better ball carrier right now than Christian McCaffrey is. Christian McCaffrey is explosive and more dynamic. Let me be very clear with what I'm saying, right? But Elijah Mitchell is a 6+ yards per carry type of guy. He's not going to get you those big runs like Raheem Mostert did, but he's going to get you those 7, 8, 9, 10-yard scampers every other time he touches the ball. And there's a value in that. I can't say the same thing for Christian McCaffrey. When Christian McCaffrey lines up in the backfield, you're going to see more stack boxes. You're going to see teams saying, hey, we got to take him away from it. Or they're going to put they're going to dedicate a linebacker to him to try to neutralize the threat that he poses and dare the 49ers quarterbacks to beat them with their arm. That's what they're going to do. Right. But Elijah Mitchell is one of those guys that he can break a tackle or two and keep doing things. And I still think Christian McCaffrey is like just a game changer, because he has those moments in him as well. And he can go out and catch some good passes. He can run really, really good routes. We just have to take our time and just and take it in and enjoy the season for what it is. Let's not fight when the season starts. We want to have that talk during the offseason. We're here for it. We'll do it all day long. That's what the Niners content creators, that's what we're here for. Let's have those debates. Let's stir the pot a little bit, right? But when it's all said and done, and when the season kicks off, let's get behind whoever it is that's out there. And when the team decides to make a switch, or if they decide to make a switch, if they don't, we got to continue to rock with who we have out there.
Yep. Exactly. Really well said. All right. This is the last topic of the night. Christian McCaffrey. Go ahead, Matt.
And by the way, not for nothing, combining with the 49ers and the Panthers, Christian McCaffrey did have 1,139 yards rushing last year.
All right. Very, very talented back. So he said that he was initially angry when the Panthers traded him, but after 14 games and 7 months with the 49ers, he's starting to count his blessings. He said, quote, "In hindsight, I firmly believe it's the best thing that ever happened to me." McCaffrey said at the annual Dwight Clark Legacy Series event via Cam Inman of the Bay Area News Group. McCaffrey knows it'll take more than him for the 49ers to do what they want to do. It takes everybody. McCaffrey said this is the biggest team game in the world that gets so much individual attention. You've got guys named the GOAT and this and that. It's true and it's great, but nobody is anybody without their teammates in this game. That's what makes it so special. That's why people watch. That's why we love to play it. I say this with respect, with the utmost respect. This is a family. It's the first time I felt like even alumni just getting to know these guys. It's special. It's different. And there's a reason it's sustainable and has been for so long. The word I use now is just very proud to be a part of this organization. I'm so happy the 49ers went out and got this guy. Like, not only for what he does on the field, but just the type of character he brings. It's a nice just addition to the team and exactly what they were needing. I don't know if you guys had any comments to add, but just wanted to share that.
I'll just say this. I've been a fan of Christian McCaffrey ever since his days at Stanford. I thought that he was very dynamic. I was very happy when the 49ers got him. I know a lot of people said overpay. I think in hindsight, we can agree that that's not necessarily the case. And I will just say this. The last time the 49ers won a Super Bowl, there was a McCaffrey on this team. It was Ed McCaffrey, Christian's dad. So let's keep that tradition going. Provided that he stays healthy, this is going to be a trade that the people talk about for a long time as one that the 49ers won in lopsided fashion. So I'm excited that he's happy to be here. It's always good when players are happy where they're at. They look good, feel good, play good. If you're enjoying the situation where you're at, you're having more fun with the game. It's all up from there.
Mike,
I find it hard to say that Christian McCaffrey was an overpay. I get it when you look at the volume, but when you look at the total and the value, right, it was less than a first-round pick. The Niners stole this guy, and I'm going to say this, and I know it's not going to feel like it. He's in the prime of his career. He's only 26 years old, guys. It feels like Christian McCaffrey's been in the league for 10 freaking years. It really feels that way to me, right? You talk about his injuries year after year and blah, 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 blah. He was healthy for the first time, and he accounted for over 1,700 all-purpose yards, guys. He's in the prime of his career.
By the way, speaking to the injuries, the most important part of the injury thing is that they were all minor. They all didn't require major reconstructive surgery, and they were all to different parts of his body. They were ticky-tack, knick-knack injuries that you're going to get sometimes, and you can kind of chalk that up to the physicality of the running back position. But the fact of the matter is he hasn't had any major injuries, so that bodes well for him continuing his ability to be a factor going forward.
Exactly. Exactly. And it just can't be understated, the value of adding Christian McCaffrey right now. And give him a year he went out here, he learned the system, he came in, and it's funny. You go back and you watch that Chiefs game, and it's like, this ain't gonna work out. I know me. I'll tell you guys from my perspective. I won't speak for anybody else. I had my doubts watching that Chiefs game, and I get it. It was like a short week. We just acquired him. They go out there and they put him in there, and I'm like, man, this can't be how we're going to use this guy. And it was like I wasn't happy about it, But then
you had to hold that shit like a week later when he threw, caught, and ran for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, oh, never mind.
Right now, all of a sudden, it's like the Triple Crown winner, right? Like he's a horse out there. This guy's a stallion, right? So, you end up realizing the value and just how much he puts other defenses in tough positions. And you realize the chess piece that Kyle Shanahan was able to acquire. I appreciate it if no one else does. I'm sure you guys do. I see you guys nodding and agreeing, man. This was a phenomenal get for the 49ers. They restructured his contract. I think they added some phantom years on this deal. He's not going anywhere. This guy's going to retire a 49er, guys. And that bodes really, really well for this team.
Exactly. And to what you said, they basically stole him for the value of less than a first-round pick. Third-string All-Pro said it. With comp picks, we basically got him for free with all the comp picks that we got. So, you can't even be mad at it. I mean, he just look at what he's produced so far. And I know that all of us are excited to have him on the team. And, a full off season here, learning all the new plays. The fact of the matter is that, we don't have the Deebo Samuel contract trash coming, so he's going to have an off season to actually try to prepare. Y'all got to stop running on Tatis. Yeah. Sorry. Don't mean to be distracted. Just Tatis threw a piss missile from right field and threw somebody out at third. So anyway, yeah, a full off season of this whole offense together, minus the quarterback position with Brock Purdy, everybody else is healthy. So Trey Lance is healthy. Obviously, Sam Darnold is what he is. These guys can actually gel with NFL caliber quarterbacks. At the very least, it's not going to be a situation where, it's Nate Sudfeld and, whoever else, whatever you say, all three of these guys have shown that they at least have the ability to start, if not play well at the NFL level. I'm not a Sam Darnold truther, but he did play well towards the end of the season in Carolina. I think that he is at least a salvageable in terms of being a high quality backup. So the 49ers go into the season looking pretty good at quarterback, no matter who's the starter. I think that this offense is just going to gel and play really well. My only concern is that right side of the offensive line. So we'll see on that one.
Yeah. I think that just wrapping this up, bringing it back to CMC, I think that you could definitely make the argument that he's the best running back in the league right now, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. The 49ers got him for what they got him for. And like Mike said, in the prime of his career, when Panthers fans, NFL fans were just saying he was washed prior to coming to this year, this is the best he's ever looked, in my opinion. So it's really exciting. But going back to the schedule to wrap things up, 5 primetime games, second most. I think the number one is I forget who, Chiefs maybe with 6. Chargers, I think there's 2 or 3 teams tied for 6.
Did they change the max? Because I thought 5 was the max.
I think it's 6. I could be wrong. Let me check.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna look it up. Most primetime games really quick. But and that's with us having a game that's to be determined.
The Jets have 6.
The Jets have 6?
Yep.
Okay, so the cap for games in prime time. Hold up. This is the NFL rule. The cap for games in prime time is 5, but the limit does not include holiday games or games that get flexed out.
There you go.
So holiday games don't count.
Well, this article says, unsurprisingly, 4 Super Bowl hopefuls were given league maximum 6 primetime games in 2023. It does not have the Jets listed here. So I don't know. It says Chiefs, Chargers, Bills, and Cowboys have 6. It doesn't have the Jets listed here.
Is this for 2023?
Yeah. Yeah, it says NFL teams with the most primetime games in 2023. I don't know if you can see my screen there.
They might have changed the rules. I think they were talking about that to go along with the 2 Thursday games this year. And then that other weird thing that we were talking about, how networks don't own the games anymore. They have to bid on them or whatever. that whole thing too. So I think they changed the way that because I think they were tired of all the BS Thursday games that people didn't want to watch because they were like terrible teams, where you get like Monday Night Football in week 13 and it's like friggin' Colts and Browns or something, and each team is like 4-8.
Yeah. Well, I think the NFL tried to do themselves a favor. That's why they said teams can have multiple Thursday night games. Teams can now have up to 2. And so what they wanted to do was kind of highlight some of the better teams in the NFL. You know what I mean? And it makes sense from a business standpoint. And we're not going to discuss it now, but I don't think people realize the salary cap implications that this season is going to have going further. Making networks bid on the games pretty much week in and week out. I think each network was given 3 games that they just did not want to lose. And then the rest of them is like, hey, who wants it? The NFL is going to generate probably twice as much money on these games than what they have been doing in the past. And that's going to make the salary cap skyrocket in the next 2 seasons. It's going to be big. It's going to be really, really big, especially with NFL Thursday night football games rebounding the way that they're going to do it right now. I think there was 2 teams that don't have Thursday night games. Is that correct? I don't have the information, but I know that there were some teams that don't even have Thursday night games anymore. It was a rule before that each team had to play on Thursday night. They got rid of that, and they said, hey, you know what? We can double up on some teams. They're going to take full advantage of it. So I'm here for it. Give me entertaining games week in and week out when I'm sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. That is phenomenal to me. I love it. I love it. Give me a game I care about, or at least a team that I want to see. I don't mind watching a good team blow out a bad team if I'm expecting that and want to see it. You know what I'm saying? But don't give me 2 bad teams, like Matt said, 2 4-8 teams. You know what I'm saying?
There needs to be a story, a rookie who's on fire, or like a player that's coming back and playing well, or something of that nature, right? The NFL a lot of times is about stories, and so you want at least a narrative to bring into the game when it's not the absolute 2 best teams. So I agree with Mike. They can't just have 2 trash teams out there just butting heads back and forth. Although I will say this, at least they got away from those crazy. Remember when they used to do the highlighter uniforms where it'd be like the Buffalo Bills are wearing like all
Color
red,
Rush.
and the Titans were wearing Color Rush. That I hated that so much, and I'm so glad they don't do that anymore.
Terrible. And
colorblind people couldn't see.
It was a good scheme though, right? For sales purposes, right? Now you have all these fan bases going, I want to get a Color Rush jersey for this year. I want to get a color. Like, I get it. The NFL, they're going to find a way to make money.
Why do you think they allow alternate helmets again?
Right. Yep. And so it's pretty cool to see it all play out, man. I'm excited for the NFL season this year, man. The schedule is going to be a tough one, but it's really going to show what the Niners are made of. We come out of here with 11 plus wins, guys, with probably one of the toughest schedules. Not so much about the teams, but the travel and the home and away and all that stuff, and having well-rested opponents and all that. If we come out of here with double-digit wins, the NFL is going to be in a lot of trouble in the postseason. It's going to be a lot of fun leading into it as well.
All right, guys. With that said, I think we're going to wrap up. I got to go cook some dinner. Is there anything else you guys wanted to share here before we call it a night?
I would caution people not to buy into too many online narratives about who the 49ers quarterback is going to be. It's May. Like, nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's all just to piss you guys off and get you all worked up. So don't let it ruin your day. It's all just for people to talk about stuff. We'll know soon enough, and we'll be able to see it,
And I think it's a perfectly fine position to take, to just say, I'm rooting for whoever wins. Like, I don't feel the need to be married to a certain player and support him all the way. Just you want whoever is going to win the most games for the 49ers. Simple as that. And you could root for both players or all 3 players if you're a Sam Darnold fan too. Root for whoever gives the 49ers the best chance to win and support him from there. That's all I got.
While I agree with what you're saying, whoever is under center, I will be cheering for. I personally will feel slighted if I don't see Trey Lance with this freaking roster. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I've never seen Trey Lance with Christian McCaffrey plus Debo plus Kittle plus Ayuk. It's never happened. I feel like I deserve that. Just give me at least one of those games. However it needs to happen, I want to see it. If I don't see that this season, I'm going to be like, damn, what could have been? What could have been? It's going to be the Marcus Lattimore talk all over again in my head. You know what I mean? Like, what could have been if we don't see it? That's all. But I'm still going to be cheering for whoever's in there.
I have a sneaking suspicion that you're going to be able to see it. I just don't feel like Brock Purdy will be ready for week 1 just on the buildup. And I don't think that there's any way that Sam Darnold beats out Trey Lance. So I think that Trey Lance probably starts the season.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, guys. Mike, I'm sure the folks are already subscribed to you, but let them know where to find you and your content.
No, I don't have much to plug, guys. I tell you what, you guys should check out our Patreon channel, man. Go to patreon.com/NBNiners. You can find us over there. Otherwise, I want to make sure if you are watching from the Nothing But Niners channel, please, please, please head on over and subscribe to my guys over here. All right. These guys are doing phenomenal, phenomenal work. Make sure you guys are here. The RGS Live channel is phenomenal. 49ers Hive is what it's called on YouTube. Get on over here. These guys put in a lot of work. You guys won't regret it. I promise you. So get over here, subscribe, like the videos and all that good stuff, and share it on your social media platforms too. Don't be afraid to let other people know that you watch this shit, man. Let them know where to come over here. All right. 49ers Hive, place to be.
Real quick, before we go, one quick thing, because a couple of people have asked in the chat, and I think it's kind of interesting too. What do you guys think about a wild card game being streamed on Peacock exclusively?
If you don't have Peacock, head on over to 49ers. Head on over to patreon.com/NBNiners. All the games that the 49ers play are right there. You get, and that's any tier. You can join on the $5 tier. That's what I think about that.
I think it's a money grab that won't last probably past the season. But then again, our Thursday night game's still only on Amazon. So no, they're not.
I thought they changed that. I thought it was like YouTube or something this year. Am I wrong?
That Sunday Ticket was bought by YouTube.
Oh, it was YouTube.
But,
it was YouTube.
Yeah, last year it was like Twitter and Amazon. And
okay,
according to my schedule,
I'm just gonna say one
Prime.
thing. I'm gonna say one thing. If y'all don't have Amazon Prime, what the fuck are you doing? Like just for packages, because the video part of it, I don't know if y'all know this, comes for free.
Yep.
Right.
If you pay for the Amazon Prime, you got Amazon Prime Video. So that's a completely different thing to me. If you don't have Amazon Prime to deliver stuff to your house, I don't know what you're doing. I don't even know how people got packages back in the day, man. Because like I order something. There have been days where I've ordered something in the morning and it's shown up that night.
Yeah.
So hate on Jeff Bezos and whatever, but that man sure knows how to make a very convenient service for me.
And
as you, go ahead.
If you're in a relationship, you might have it and don't even know it. My wife had Amazon Prime, and then when I logged into my account, I kept seeing Prime membership, and I'm like, I never signed up for this shit. They do it based off of the household, so you might have it and don't even know it. Like you guys got to get it.
Me and my wife do so much Amazon shopping, including gifts for each other, that we each have our own Amazon Prime membership.
Oh, see, you guys are wasting money right there.
I don't want her to see what I'm buying her for her.
No. It's separate.
You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, it's separate. It's just based off of
it's separate for one account. I don't have access to Ashley's, but we have the same account.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
by the way,
whatever. They can take my money twice. I don't even give a shit.
They hit us up the other day saying you shop so much you qualify for a small business account. I'm like, fuck, don't tell me that. I don't want to know that.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, man.
Just last thing about the Peacock thing. I don't think that this is going to be locked behind the paywall. I think that this is a way that they're working. They already have a business relationship with NBC. I think this is a way where they're going to put it on the Peacock streaming service as like part of the game is going to be free. They'll probably offer like a 1-week trial to go with it. They want to drum up subscriptions for the service. So they want people to come over and say, look, see how our video works or whatever. See how our service works and performs. And they're just trying to get people to come in. But I seriously doubt if the NFL is all about the almighty dollar, and even on these streaming platforms, there are commercials. So the NFL would lose out on a lot of ad revenue if they put this behind a paywall. I think it'll be free to stream for everybody. It'll just be on Peacock to get eyes on the platform.
All right, guys. With that said, thank you everybody for tuning in. Appreciate all you guys. Our handles are on the screen. You can follow me, Matt, Mike, and the RGS pod. We're almost at 1,000 followers on Twitter, so go follow us there. Follow 49ers Hive. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Matt, you want to carry us out?
Absolutely. This was a fun time. Thanks, Mike, for joining us as always. It's always a thrill when you're here. We always have the best conversations. Zach holding it down, the host with the most as always. We love having you guys here. We would be nothing without you guys. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Please come back the next time. We're going to be bringing you content. With that being said, for all my boys here, for everyone out there, until next time, go Niners.